Hey guys, it is Megan up at Camp Sunshine, and look, I want to show all of you. I'm not keeping on track, but look how beautiful it is out there today. Okay, so I am popping on today to talk about oral health. I have mentioned in other content that I have created that I strongly believe that everyone's health starts in their gut, that if you have an unhealthy gut, nothing else is going to be able to get healthy, heal, and thrive. But even prior to that, what you put in your mouth has to go through your mouth and all of the bacteria and shit that's there and get macerated up to then be sent down into your gut. And so if you have bad oral health, then you are just sending bad shit down the tubes and into the gut. And so it's just a no-win situation. Fun fact, pharmaceuticals oftentimes, most of the time, fuck with your dental health, your oral health. I did not know this, and when I was on all the pharmaceuticals, I was also a single mom and living on a very tight budget, and so things had to give, and one of the things that gave was I didn't have dental coverage through my employment, and so I didn't go to the dentist. And having grown up with really healthy teeth, I think I only at that point at age 42, maybe 40, I had just one cavity in my mouth. I mean, that's kind of means I got my mom's teeth, because my dad didn't have a single real tooth in his mouth when he passed away. Hi, Papa. But he had tooth problems his whole entire life. I mean, his whole life. So I was blessed with my mother's teeth, and as I said, I had healthy teeth, and so I just doubled down on my brushing and figured they would be okay if I didn't go for a couple of years. But as I started with, pharmaceuticals are really bad for your teeth. Dry mouth. I even had the stupid thought that, oh, if my mouth is dry, because bacteria thrives in wet environments, that if my mouth is dry, that'll double down. I won't get, any cavities or anything. So flash forward to 2018, I married Sean and I got dental coverage. He says he marries me for my parking pass, and I married him for his dental coverage or medical coverage. But I went to a dentist, actually, one my dad recommended, because even though he lives in Martha's Vineyard, when he was out for our wedding earlier in the year, he had a dental emergency because he had those. He went to a dentist and came back just raving about this woman, said she was one of the best. And I mean, given his history, he's met a lot of dentists. And so when it came time for me to go to the dentist, I went to that woman, and oh my God, I never really had time to have a conversation because my father fell ill, and then it was never talking about this. But this woman was crazy. We ended up calling her the tooth Nazi, and it was a horrible experience. Again, one of those situations where I'm so happy that my husband was with me, because I don't think anyone would believe me. Just crazy. I will talk about that one time. I think that would be a good podcast episode to cover. But it turned out I had 18 cavities on one side and 17 on the other. I mean, going from just one in 40 years of life to that many. I mean, my mouth was just a wreck. I mean, just like the rest of my body. And I did go in and had this size, I think it was the 18, filled, repaired. I think, again, this was still shortly after I was off the pharmaceuticals, so I was still a lot in the pharma fog, and my brain wasn't fully functioning and creating memories. But if I recall, they were like the cavities that you get because of gum disease, and so down low, and so she put these fillers in it or something. I don't know. That experience was horrible. And so I broke up with her and just decided to go back to, I'm not going to the dentist. And at this point, I was beginning to understand that I could heal things. And so I started researching what I could do naturally until I could find a dentist. And so at that point, it was just, I eliminated fluoride, I think. And then we had COVID, and we moved to Cedro Bully. And so finding, dentistry was not, people, they were only booking emergencies because of the scare of the cross-contamination or whatever. You can't wear a mask when you're doing dental work, basically. So I wasn't able to get another appointment until like 2023. And in that time, I had begun to do other things and after research. And one of the things that I am doing, and it took me so long to do it because it sounded so disgusting, and I had it sitting on the shelf in my bathroom for months, maybe even years, which is oil pulling. I don't know if you've heard of it, but you should do it. It's absolutely amazing. And I accredit to, so flash forward to, I now go to a dentist. I don't have these cavities anymore. There's nothing, usually when I went in, there were after this, and all the cleaning appointments, there were areas to watch, areas of concern. I don't have any of those areas anymore. I mean, I still have gum recession, but I really do think I'm now going to try to find a different toothpaste because I haven't really doubled down on that. And I want to get something that has, I don't know, to build back up. Google it. I'm not a scientist. I read these things that make sense, but I don't necessarily remember it. So this is a brand you can buy. I got it on Amazon, but I think they probably could do straight through their website. And that is what I started with. And once I fell in love with it, and I am obsessed with it, I realized I could just make it myself. And this goes back to, this is what I use to make my infused cannabis and CBD oils. It's called fractionated coconut oil, and all that means it's in a liquid state permanently. You'll have tubs of coconut oil that is a solid. Many people make their infused edibles out of that kind, but I wanted to be able to do this as a tincture and be able to do it in capsules. And so this, as I said, it's the MCT oil, if you've ever heard of it. That has to do with the chain of the oil that it is. That's science. I don't do science. But so that is exactly what this is. This may have a couple of other things added in, but it's the oil. And so here's why I know it works. When we trim, our hands are covered in the sticky resin, and anybody who has ever, handled raw weed knows it's a really sticky sap that comes from the plant, and it is a bitch to get off. And that is where hash comes from, because people after, trimming will roll up their hands and get that off of their fingers and scrape it off. And I discovered very early on that if you just put your hands under hot water and then take a dollop of coconut oil and rub your hands with the coconut oil, all of the sticky resin and everything dissipates and it's gone. And it's the quickest, easiest way. I mean, because we'll often be trimming and then I've got to do something else and I don't have time to be pulling it off of my fingers. So it's proof that it pulls really, really sticky, stubborn shit off of surfaces. So it makes sense that this is helping getting all of the bad stuff out of my mouth. Next thing you do after so I'm going to go back to when I make it. I use the defractionated coconut oil, and then for peppermint flavoring, I have just a food grade peppermint essential oil, and I put a couple of drops into it, and I just keep reusing this bottle, partly so that I can remember the name if somebody. So I mean, if you are somebody that has no urge to make something yourself, go. This is a great company. And even if you just want to try it and you don't want to commit yourself to a really large jug of liquid coconut oil, again, this is a great brand to try. So you take a small little cup. I don't have mine right now, but it's just maybe a teaspoon or two, and you put it in your mouth and you swish it around. And I think I do have videos of my first couple of times doing this. I was so fearful of gagging on the oil that my whole mouth was tensed up, and I could only do it for about 90 seconds because it created like oh my God, just awful pain. And that lasted for a couple of days until I realized the problem was that I was so tense and worried about gagging. So then I started massaging my face while I was oiling, and I slowly became more and more comfortable. And within a week, I had fallen in love with it. And now, I mean, I put it in my mouth, and you're supposed to do it for 10 minutes, for great benefit. 20 is even better. I mean, I'll have swished for like an hour. I would go off and do laundry and just swish, and I move my mouth around, and it makes all my muscles move and everything. So, yeah, it's something that, again, petrified me, and it was terrible to begin with, but see it through and it becomes one of my favorite things. So once you do that, you rinse your mouth out, and then this is a tongue scraper. Again, something I was really, really scared of. I was a cigarette smoker, and avoiding touching the inside of my mouth and my tongue was always something, because I never never found anything, but I was always fearful that because I knew from cigarette smoking I could give myself oral cancer. And so this thing just seemed like it was a deadly thing that was going to go rip things apart and everything. But you just rub it along your tongue like that, and it scrapes off stuff, and you rinse it off, and you do it a couple of times until you're not scraping stuff off. And that again is after you've done this. So you're, as you're swishing and it's pulling shit out from, in the innards of your teeth and everything, it has to go somewhere, and your tongue absorbs some of it. Hi, honey. Hi. I saw you trying to be so stealth.
I'm having a spam cookie.
Oh, perfect. Sean was napping. He's up now. I completely squirreled there. That was no, that's okay. That's a warranted squirrel. Yep. So this and this. Dang it. I don't think it's going to come back to me, because now my mind is whirling and twirling, because we are heading to Spokane tomorrow to watch my boy, I was going to say boys, just one of them, in a powerlifting competition. And so in my mind, I've already gone to mentally packing things, and I am making them, all the girls are getting beef tallow balm, and bringing a bunch of my CBD salve, because powerlifting people hurt themselves and CBD works. So yeah, I don't know what I was saying. My apologies. Husband interrupted me. Damn, husband.
Not my fault.
That you're my husband? No, that's true. I asked you, so it's my fault. So dental, as I said, everybody says, gut health comes first, but before it even gets in your gut, it goes through your mouth. And if you have really shitty bacteria and bad decaying shit in your mouth, you are just setting yourself up for failure. So start doing this. Even Sean does this. He doesn't do it every single day, but when he does, he says his teeth feel super, super clean. Oh, and next video will be the other thing we've added, and he does it now too, is the water pick. My dad used to use one, and it was a whole machine with a tube, and we used to make fun of him so badly. And now, again, it's something that I use twice a day, sometimes 3 times, because I still have crevices and the food gets stuck in there. So I'll have Sean pop on and talk to us about that, because he has recently really fallen in love too. He bought his own. He won't share it with me.
Mm-hmm.